Go work for a carrier first. Don't pay for training. It's all a scam. Just get your license and then go for a ride-along. That's the kind of advice you're going to see if you spend more than 5 minutes in any adjuster Facebook group or Reddit thread. Sounds confident? It is repeated very often, and it's complete bullshit. But before we go any further, let me make something very, very clear. I'm not here to sell you sunshine and unicorns. This job is hard, not because it's technically complicated, but because there's just so much of it. You're gonna have to work independently, you're gonna have to stay organized, you gotta be able to handle pressure, and you have to hustle. You're likely gonna be doing 10 different jobs at once, and the margin for error is pretty small. It will probably be one of the hardest things that you've ever done, especially if you've never owned your own business or worked in any kind of high pressure sales. Also, it can take longer than you'd like to get that first deployment. We can train you, we can prepare you, and get you directly in front of IA firms, but Mother Nature and your ability to stay proactive will always be part of the equation. Now, with that said, more than 80% of our fast track graduates self-report working real claims within 90 days of graduation, but there's no way that I or anybody else can guarantee a timeline or an outcome. And the reality is, IA firms are desperate for good adjusters, not just warm bodies. And because I've been in this industry since 1999 and have worked with or for most of these firms, they came to me and they asked me to put together a program that helps new adjusters demonstrate proficiency, not just walk away with a certificate of completion. And that's what we built, and that's why they prioritize our certified adjusters over other newbies. So no, it's not easy, and no, I've never said that it would be. Is it for everybody? Hell no. But people do it every day, and if you've got the drive, the discipline, and the right training, there's never been a better time to get started. I'm Matt with Adjuster TV, and I've handled over 10,000 property claims in the field, and I've helped train thousands of adjusters. Today, I'm going to help you cut through the confusion and build your IA career the right way, starting now. One of the most common pieces of advice floating around is this: you should go work for a carrier first, and then get trained, and then go independent. Let's break that down. First, ethics, okay? Carriers invest thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even 6 figures into recruiting, onboarding, and training new staff adjusters. So if your plan is to quit right after training just to pivot into the independent side, that's not just short-sighted, it's kind of a bridge burned before you've even crossed it. And look, I'm all for taking every advantage that you can get your hands on, and that's part of succeeding in this industry. But when somebody dishonestly uses a staff position as a way to score what amounts to paid training at the company's expense, it kind of makes me wonder, what corners will they cut once they're out in the field handling real claims? Trying to get everything for free is not clever. It's a time-wasting trap. You can spend months or years trying to piece together free resources, ride-alongs, and outdated advice from strangers online. Or you can invest in solid training and get deployment ready in a fraction of the time, days or weeks. When you put some skin in the game, it changes how you value the training that you receive. We've seen it with our students. Those who invest in high-end training, like fast track to deployment, don't just finish, they finish strong. They show up, they take it seriously, and they get the most out of every opportunity. Second, the actual value. Working as a staff adjuster can absolutely give you great experience, but not because of the initial training. The real value is in getting exposure to all kinds of claims across a wide range of policies and property types. But you only get that if you stay on for at least a year or two. And at that point, why even leave? Third, something that no one ever talks about, the missed opportunity cost. Going staff just to train as an IA delays your income potential by the absolute minimum months, if not years. Most staff adjuster roles start out with painfully low pay, sometimes half or less of what a brand new IA can earn, even on a modest deployment. So while you're grinding through low-paying claims, internal meetings, your peers who went independent and trained properly are already in the field earning real money. And here's the thing that only I'm going to tell you. This work, it's not rocket science, okay? The hard part about being an adjuster isn't writing estimates. It's being able to work independently, unsupervised, and still get a massive amount of work done in a short period of time. And that's what separates the pros from the people who wash out. So when you hear managers or a trainer say that at some point this clicked with people who become full-time IAs, this is the click part. The core skills, scoping, estimating, writing reports, understanding policy can absolutely be taught in just a few weeks. After that, it's about reps. You get better by doing this job. You refine your processes, you get faster, and you learn how to manage your time like your income depends on it. Because it does. We're not getting paid by the hour. You don't need a months-long corporate onboarding process to become a good adjuster. You need focused, relevant training and a work ethic that can carry you through 16-hour days, 7 days a week, for as long as it takes. Let me be clear. Working as a staff adjuster can absolutely be a great long-term career. If you're looking for stability, benefits, and the chance to grow within a company, staff roles absolutely can deliver. You're going to get health insurance, matching 401k, paid time off, company car. They may even pay for your MBA, and there's absolutely a clear promotional path. Major corporations love to develop and promote people that they already have, but that only makes sense if that's the life that you want. If you're planning to stay long-term as a staff adjuster, then go all in on it. But if you're only taking a staff job because somebody in a Facebook group told you that it's the best way to become an IA, you're definitely setting yourself up for frustration, and you're missing out on the income and freedom you could be earning right now. So whichever path you choose, staff or IA, make that decision on purpose, not because some internet adjuster told you to. If you're going to go IA, then commit to being an IA. How do I know all this? Let me tell you a little story. 17 years into my independent adjusting career, my wife and I wanted to expand our family and get off the road for a little while. I took a staff position with a top 5 carrier, and I spent 4 months in training. And most of that was focused on company culture and how to use their outdated proprietary software, stuff that you're never, ever, ever going to use as an IA. There was a little bit of Xactimate, but very little on construction. We did policy and customer service training, which was useful, of course. But again, the actual real value came from handling claims in the field. And that part was great, but it only made sense because I was planning to stay, which if you didn't guess, I didn't stay because it didn't gel with me. All right, so here's another popular piece of advice. If you have to pay for mentorship, it's a scam. Don't trust anybody selling a course. Just get your license and ride along with somebody. Let's take this apart. First, there is no high quality, standardized training for new IAs in our industry. None. That gap is exactly why people like me build programs in the first place, because there's no bridge from licensing to readiness. So if you're looking around and wondering, why do these gurus even exist? It's because no one else was doing it. Somebody had to step in. If you want to call me a guru on Reddit, fine. But if nobody fills that void, then what you're left with is a bunch of untrained adjusters trying to figure it out in the middle of a CAT deployment. And that's not just bad for them, it's bad for our entire industry. And maybe you heard that self-paced online programs aren't worth it, or there's some kind of money grab. If you really want a hands-on experience, just walk around your own house. Touch the siding, walk on your roof very carefully, open the cabinets, look at the flooring transitions. Do you really need to fly across the country and sit in a room with 39 other students, all hoping to get 5 minutes of instructor time just to be told, this is drywall and this is the baseboard? I've been through in-person trainings at a carrier, with IA firms, through Vail Training Solutions 3-week program way back in '99 when I got started doing this. And I can tell you that 95% of what's sold as hands-on is really just a classroom lecture with a brief, chaotic stroll through a mock-up property. Everybody's confused, no one gets much attention, and very little actually sticks. Unless you videoed all of it, good luck remembering the important stuff when you're standing on a roof or working in Xactimate at 1 o'clock in the morning. Second, ride-alongs are not training. They're not mentorship. They are a glimpse into our lifestyle, nothing more. You don't know if the person you're shadowing actually knows what they're doing, okay? And they don't have the time or incentive to walk you through every detail. And they absolutely won't let you do any of the work on their claims because they're on the hook for every single mistake in the file. Ride-alongs are valuable, but only as a job shadow. You go to them, you pay your way, you stay quiet, you observe, you carry the ladder, then you buy your host a steak dinner and ask all your questions after hours. That's the deal. Now let's talk about that claim that mentorship gets you deployed faster. This is where people say, that's a scam, and I get it. It sounds like a big promise from a guy trying to sell you a program, but here is the truth. I currently partner with 9 of the biggest IA firms in the country. These are the firms that actually deploy adjusters, and every single one of them has vetted my program. They've seen the results and they have formally agreed to partner with me and Adjuster TV. And that's why I can say honestly that when one of my fast track deployment grads finishes this course, they go straight to the top of the onboarding list. Not because I'm just blowing sunshine, but because the program works and the firms have seen it firsthand. Will you get deployed immediately? Probably not. You still have to go through onboarding at the IA firms, which includes a lot of Zoom orientations and even some in-person training so that you can be indoctrinated into the Pilot or Crawford way. But the good news is, once you get through this onboarding nightmare with all these companies, you only have to do that once. So let's talk about what actually works, what you really need to get ready to handle real claims in the field. And let's start with software. Xactimate is the industry standard estimating tool, and your ability to use it efficiently will directly affect your income. But here's the mistake that a lot of new adjusters make. They think that getting a level 1 or 2 certification means they're field ready. That's only half the picture. The first part of Xactimate training is learning how to use the software itself, right? How to navigate the interface, how to enter line items, how to sketch, where all the bells and buttons are, all that stuff. That's what levels 1, 2, and sort of 3 teach you. But the second part, the part that most people skip, is learning how to actually use Xactimate as a tool within the claims process. It's not just about making the software work. It's about knowing when to write what, how to structure your estimate for the carrier you're working with, and how to get in and out of each claim without wasting time. And we teach both of these pieces inside the Fast Track Deployment program. Next is construction. A lot of folks worry that they need a background in building trades to succeed in this industry, but you actually don't. You need to understand how homes are put together, what typical damage looks like, and how to describe and write for it in Xactimate. There are probably 24 core estimates that you're going to write over and over and over again throughout your career. And that's what we focus on. We break down those scenarios in detail, then we show you how to scope them, how to estimate them, and then how to document them. And if you're brand new and you've got zero construction experience, we've got you covered with deep dive construction training through our partner Verisk, which is the company that makes Xactimate. Then there's the claims process and policy. And this is where most new adjusters get blindsided, because handling claims isn't just about sketching a roof or checking for hail. It's about managing a workflow. It's not rocket surgery. What you need to learn is how policies work, how to find stuff in there, how to identify coverage based on the type of loss, how to explain the outcome to a homeowner who's never even looked at their policy and who may already assume that the insurance company is trying to get out of paying, okay? That's a heavy lift, but it's absolutely teachable. And we teach that inside of Fast Track. Finally, job shadowing. This is something that you absolutely should do, but you should do it at the very beginning of your journey. Before you invest in training, before you apply to firms, just to see if this lifestyle is even for you. You're going to get a sense of the pace, the pressure, the customer interactions, and the long days. And sure, you can do 1 or 2 more ride-alongs later to see how different adjusters operate, but let's be honest. If you're shadowing somebody who's out on a storm working CAT claims and you're ready to go work yourself, then you should probably be working that storm yourself. When you've got these pillars in place, software, construction, process, policy, and a clear-eyed look at the lifestyle, you're not just qualified, you're going to be ready. And that's what firms want to see when they hand out those first deployments. Now listen, I'm not saying that you have to train with me, but I am saying that you have to train with somebody, okay? Because the idea that you can just get licensed and then go handle a $350,000 hurricane claim or any total loss fire without any real preparation, that's reckless. And it's a big reason why independent adjusters remain the redheaded stepchild of the insurance claims industry. And that's why I started Adjuster TV in the first place, to elevate our trade to its rightful place as a vital and professional solution to helping people recover from devastating losses. Not a fallback for people who couldn't cut it someplace else, okay? When you get deployed on your first hurricane, there's something that you should know. Claims don't get assigned by difficulty or by your experience level, generally speaking. You get assigned an area, and whatever comes in is yours. You're going to get the easy ones and you're going to get the absolute monsters, and they're going to expect you to handle all of them. If you're not ready, you're going to drown. And here's the wild part. Once you start closing 5, 6, even 7 claims a day, your time management problems don't disappear. They evolve, because now the challenge isn't doing the work, it's staying sharp while you're scaling up. And that's why I built an entire system to help you hit $2,000 days without losing your mind. And in the next video, we'll walk you through it step by step. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great storm.